All right, so ever since Bronny James have made his summer league debut, for the most part, it's been a disaster. A lot of fans, including Laker fans and just uh, basketball purists, analysts, and just deep followers of the game in an uproar. And here's something else: do not use Bronny James as a means to try to divide and make this about the a black community thing. If you speak out against Bronny James or LeBron James, you're a sellout, you're being a Sambo, and you're a coon. And I've heard a lot of people try to justify the Lakers drafting Bronny James and talking about nepotism is good. Well, nepotism is good if it favors black people as a whole. I'm all for that because I do think black people went backwards, and I do feel that a lot of other people gotta, pass this up because black people went out of their way and was conditioned and programmed and brainwashed, because that's pretty much what it come down to help other people, except black people. They were told, don't make the same mistake we made. No, you didn't make a mistake. You did it intentionally. And you look at X amount of years post civil rights, post integration, and black people seem to be worse off than what they were, 50, 60 years ago, when we had our own establishments and we're trying to build communities that were intentionally destroyed. And let's just keep it a buck. It was did intentionally because people saw what this could lead to overall. The greatest threat to white supremacy is being equal. And you need to understand the definition of supremacy. I do understand the definition of supremacy, but neither here or there. I've looked at Bronny James. He isn't good. And at the end of the day, LeBron James has hurt a franchise because he's made it about him. This isn't about what's best for the league. This isn't about what's best for the Lakers. This was all about LeBron wanting to play with his son. He strong-armed the Lakers. He charmed Jenny Buss into drafting his son. But at the end of the day, do you see the Lakers contending for a championship? Nah. They may make the playoffs, but they will be ousted in the first round as usual. And they may not even make the play-in tournament. And people just need to tell the truth. Bronny James isn't that good. Bronny James should have stayed in college. Or Bronny James should have went to a prep school. LeBron James Jr. should have went overseas and played for a little bit. But at the end of the day, watching him, people want to talk this black stuff when it comes to Bronny James, but at the same time, he's holding up a roster spot for somebody that's actually NBA ready. And that's just the honest to God truth. Do not come here talking this, you got to be on code and all this. Okay, so when is LeBron James on code? He's inconsistent with being on code. 1 minute he wants to go in on Jerry Jones, but then at the same time, he throws Kyrie Irving under the bus. He don't stand up for Kyrie Irving where Jaylen Brown does. And then Jaylen Brown mysteriously is left off the Olympic team. And then you got, whole cake niggas like Stephen A. Smith basically celebrating and taking a shot at Jaylen Brown. Bronny James just isn't that good, and it just need to be said. And I listened to something, and this is just real talk. I listened to what Mason M said in regards to responding to, listen. We're talking about Bronny James. We're not talking about any other subject. Stick to the subject, please. With all due respect, we're not talking about anything else. We're talking about Bronny James. We're sticking to one subject. Now, anyway, I listened to something very important. And I looked at the assessment that Mace and Cameron made. They responded to Jay Prince. And I like what they said in regards to Shakur Stevenson. I like the idea of Cameron saying, you know what? We can help promote the fight. I do think that Shakur and Cameron and Jay Prince and Mace, they should get together, and they should, going into Shakur Stevenson's next fight, they should go on remote and do It Is What It Is fight week. I think that's a good look. I think that'll be dope. Because at the end of the day, we need to start handling things ourselves. I'll talk to my man Justin McRae about this kind of stuff all the time. And he's on point, and he's been saying this kind of stuff. And I'm going to say something about boots that I like and that I really highly recommend that they should keep doing with boots via Justin McRae, because Justin McRae, we be talking about this kind of stuff all the time. You know? So when I listened to what they said, I said, that's a good idea. And they gave their response to Jay Prince, what Jay Prince said. At the end of the day, they have a right to voice their opinion. They have a right. But at the same time, are they being a little too hard on Shakur Stevenson? I believe that a lot of people have been way too hard on Shakur Stevenson. And that's just real talk. But nevertheless, that's a good idea. But it comes to what I'm saying. We have the right to voice our opinion about LeBron James. We have the right to voice our opinion about his son. This has nothing to do with blackness. This has nothing to do with being on code. It's a fair assessment of his game. Anytime and every time we, just address something, it doesn't have to do with blackness and being on code. Listen, I've been saying this for a while. This is the thing that I say, what irritates me about Eminem and his fans. When you say, hey, I don't particularly like this Eminem album. I don't particularly like this Eminem song. I haven't been messing with Eminem in 20 years. All of a sudden, they turn this into, you get black people that turn this into a racial thing. But then these the same niggas that ain't said nothing about what's been going on with Ryan Garcia, and which, by the way, I'm going to get back to Ryan Garcia too. I'm going to get back to Ryan Garcia. This is just real talk. Now that you done had what happened on Saturday, now what Ryan Garcia says is even more troubling and more alarming. But at the end of the day, you coward ass black dudes, you coward ass black women ain't nowhere to be found. You spent the whole week talking about Shakur Stevenson, but then you made excuses for Ryan Garcia. And it just shows you where we are and how ass backwards we are. But I looked at Bronny James when he shot that air ball, when he even though they don't call it traveling that much, he took 2 steps and shot the ball, and then it was an air ball. And it's just embarrassing. And then you get people that speak out, anybody that speaks out and says, oh man, he's not ready, then they get called a coon. And then my thing is, when you criticize LeBron James or you criticize his son, then all of a sudden you get called a sellout. And then you got some of these dudes who's getting their life threatened. That's like the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life. Just like about 4 years ago, some goofy ass 50 Cent groupie, was clout chasing, and he tried to run up on Young Buck, asking Young Buck about something, you know what I'm saying, in his personal life. Young Buck was minding his own business, and the dude was clout chasing. He's sitting up there being a groupie for 50 Cent. 50 Cent don't know the dude. Now, if Young Buck would have did something to the dude, he would have been well within his right. Because the dude trying to film himself clout chasing. Goofy ass nigga. And if he would have lost his life or got the hell beat out of him, 50 Cent would have just said, I didn't tell that dude to do that. That's what I'm saying. Don't sit up here and run up on nobody in the name of your favorite celebrity. Don't sit up here and threaten somebody in the name of your favorite celebrity. You can sit up there and if you can sit up there and speak and give your opinion. I'll do it, but I ain't sitting up here saying, hey man, if you keep talking about so and so, you keep talking about so and so, I'm coming to see you because I look stupid. I'm gonna sit up there and run up on somebody because they didn't say something about a dude I've never met before in my life. Now, if you say something about my family, you say something about my son, you say something about me, then we'll see what happens. It all depends on the severity of what you didn't say it or what the situation is. But a lot of these dudes are stupid. A lot of these dudes are stupid. Groupie stuff. When I heard that dude got threatened, Dreamers Pro, that was just weird. Talking about a no-fly zone. That's just crazy. Listen. I see a lot of people criticize the bill. They criticize Devin Haney. I'm not gonna say, hey man, y'all can't come to the Bay Area. Y'all not welcome in Oakland. Y'all not welcome in the Bay Area because y'all don't like Devin Haney because y'all don't like Bill. That's hell crazy. People have a right to their opinion. Now I have a right to my opinion. If I feel like you know what I'm saying, overexpressing yourself to the point to where you just being a view whore or you cooning, then yeah, I'm gonna call you out. That's just real talk. But that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's not that serious. This is not technically really a black thing. Because like I said before, I need for y'all to explain to me if this is a black thing, if y'all try to go that route. Well, why LeBron James, they got more black coaches fired than he have non-black coaches? Explain that to me. If y'all so pro-black, so power to the people. That's where the inconsistency come from. And that's why I used to laugh at a lot of you fake Errol Spence fans when it pertained to the Bud Crawford fight. You wanted to call Bud all type of names and everything, but then as soon as it came out that, Jim Crow, Jerry Jones was at a Jim Crow rally, y'all didn't say nothing. Then y'all wanted to start talking about, well, that's the past and all this kind of stuff. Man, come on, man, stop it. And that's the point that I'm trying to make about Bronny James. We have a right to assess his game, assess him as a basketball player. And that's all we're trying to do. I've looked at Bronny James. I've looked at the highlights. I've looked at the footage. He isn't NBA ready. And at the end of the day, to a certain degree, based off how selfish LeBron is, to where I just want to be on the same court with my son at the same time, instead of letting your son develop his game, you're not really helping your son. So at the same time, where people are sitting up celebrating LeBron for quote unquote nepotism, at the end of the day, you can make an argument that LeBron is hurting his son. I'm just going to keep it a buck. LeBron James is at the point to where he got it to the point to where he could walk away from the game, let his son develop his game. He could sign a one-day contract to where he could just play one game and be on the floor with his son and then just walk off the court. Is there a rush to put LeBron James in the Hall of Fame? LeBron James is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is that going to stagnate and prolong him going into the Hall of Fame? Well, it is what it is. LeBron James will get into the Hall of Fame. And keep in mind, they have lowered the amount of time that you have to wait. They went from 5 years to 4 years. But we live in a time where you can't tell the truth and you don't want to keep it 100. So I'm just saying, LeBron James is not really helping his son. He's hurting his son. And he's displaying how selfish he is. And this is why a lot of NBA players are getting tired of LeBron James. This is why a lot of dudes don't want to go play with LeBron James. You got Klay Thompson, who I think Klay Thompson is going to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He didn't want to go play with LeBron. that speaks volumes when you got a lot of people. Kevin Durant don't want to play with LeBron. Stephen Curry really don't want to play with LeBron. That's why he was glad that LeBron didn't decide to go to the Golden State Warriors. But this stuff need to be said. Stop making everything a blackness thing, because it isn't. It's just a critique thing. You're not a coon if you criticize Bronny James. You're not a coon if you criticize LeBron James. My thing is, have that same energy, that same power to the people stuff when it pertains to real issues pertaining to us. So there you have it. It's your boy Tam. I'm out.